We're going to ask you to stand to your feet and give a good amen to Sister Katrina Benson.
Hello, everybody. Y'all can be seated. I would just like to start today by telling God thank you for everything. Last week, when my uncle passed, I was the one who was in the house and found him. And if you could come here, Miracle, I want to do like a demonstration or something. So Miracle will be me. And you can stand. And I'll be the Spirit of the Lord over me. For the past 12 months, so much happened in my life. And I went through and I saw some stuff I never would have thought I would have experienced. I thought, okay, you know, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, these things wouldn't happen. But it was some stuff I had to see. And so I stood there and I felt like I was going to faint. And God held me. Yes. And he said, stand there. I said, Lord, I don't think I can take no more. He said, stand there. And when I felt my mind slipping, he put his hands on my mind and said, hold on, hold on. And when everything left, when I saw my car get repoed, he said, stand right there. When my bills started piling up, he said, hold on, I'm going to keep your mind. When everything around, he just kept his arms on me. And when that day in the house with my uncle, and the police busted the door in, and he was laying there, God held me like this. And he said, oh no, hold on, hold on, hold on. And he never let me go. And I thank God because he always been over me like this. Even when I was in the world, he just was on me like this. Even some places I was going to go, he was like, right here. Even when my grandmother would call me, at this time I was in the world. I was raised in church, but I knew right from wrong. And when my grandmother would call me, it's like I would be moving my head around like I didn't really want to hear it. But she stayed in my ear. She stayed giving me the word. And so through all this stuff I went through, after I saw so much, God took me and put a mic in my hand. He said, now tell him. Tell him who kept you. Tell him who watched over you. Tell him who had your back. Tell him when you was about to give up, who held you. Tell him when you walked in that room and saw your uncle right there, who grabbed you. Tell him who kept you, Trina. Tell him who laid it on your grandmother's heart to keep speaking to you. Tell him who loved you. Tell him who saved you. Tell him who done it. Go tell the world. Tell the world. Tell the world. And so now, when I stand here, it was almost like but it was almost like going into a storm and the storm being allowed to blow real hard for me to experience that, and then to walk out in the storm next time and it don't bother me that bad. Because now I know what to expect. Now it don't hurt as much. Now I can walk through with my head up and know, oh, this gonna pass. Oh, that's gonna pass. That ain't gonna kill me. That ain't gonna hurt me. He put me in a place where I found out what life was about. Because I thought life was about what I had. I thought life was about me looking nice, dressing nice, nice car, nice God said, no, that ain't what life is about. Let me move that stuff. Now let me talk to you now, because now I got your attention. Now I got your full attention. Now let me tell you what life is about. Life is about serving me, loving me, coming back to me, bringing souls back to me. It ain't about none of that stuff. Why you crying over that stuff? Why you worried about who don't want this, who don't want that? Life was never about that, Trina. A lot of reasons why people walk away and turn away is because it's only that way we gonna hear him. It's only that way he gonna get out. He gonna grab our attention to where we like, all right, it ain't nobody to call. So God, I gotta talk to you now. It ain't nobody with the answer. I remember being to the point that nobody had an answer for me. Nobody had an answer. And I had no choice but to go to God. He made it where I had no choice. He made it where it was nowhere to run to. Every door and window was shut. And I stood in this room door. And I stood in this room with no windows or doors, nowhere to run to. Nobody could help me. My husband couldn't help me. My aunt couldn't help me. My mama couldn't help me. And I stood there and there was nobody on this world to help me. And I said, God, if you don't do it, it ain't going to get done. I thank God because when he had me in his hole, he still was over me. He said, oh no, suicide, stay away from her. You can't talk to her mind. You can't get to her mind. You can't get to her. I'm holding her. I'm keeping her. And I thank him because when I stood in there and I called on him. See, to me, it looked like no way out. It looked like it was no way out of that. It looked like I'm doomed. It looked like my whole world about to cave in. And that's when I had no choice but to have faith. It was forced faith. It was the type of faith that you gonna believe in me or you ain't gonna make it, Trina. If you wanna wake up tomorrow and make it, you gonna have to believe in me. If you wanna hold your head up again, you gonna have to believe in me. If you wanna be a good mother to your kids, you gonna have to believe in me. If you want a brighter future, you gonna have to believe in me. If you wanna make it, you gonna have to believe in me. And when I stood in that room and there was no way out, I said, Lord, if you real, you really real. Everything I read is real. Everything you told me real. Everything, get me out of this because I can't do it. I can't make it. I'm a fail. I'm a lose if you don't do it for me. If you don't do it for me, next thing I know, windows start appearing. Doors start appearing. Out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. And I really thank God for that because I found out that nobody could do it but him. Nobody could do it but him. He's really real. He's real. God is real. And I remember battling with myself coming up through the years. I just remember battling with myself. And I just remember all I had was God. And I always wondered why I always had to be the strong one. Why I always had to be the strong one. Why I always got to be the one with the answers. Why I always got to be the one everybody turn to. Why I always got to be this. Why I always got to do that. And he just built me up to where I can stand. I had people come up to me and tell me that doctrine ain't right. And I can stand and say, oh no, I'm not changing my doctrine. He just built me so strong that a wind can't blow, that nothing can't blow, nothing can't change my mind. Even you turn away and don't follow me, I can still serve him. When stuff don't go how I think it should go, I can still serve him. I can still serve him with my right mind. And I really thank God because we still, a lot of us in this generation is getting real wild out here. And the only way we're going to make it is faith in God. And we can't get mad at our lives and how things turned out for us and have any type of rejection or weird feelings towards God. Because I found out that everything I went through made me stronger. And it gave me a testimony. And he's a keeper. Because I lost people around me. Some physically and some just didn't want to be bothered. But I found out that when people around me started moving, that God started using me and building me up. He would talk to me. He would listen. He will listen to me talk all night. He's just a keeper.